Cheesy the Podcast, presented by Just Cheesy Productions.
Hi there, I'm your host Fondue.
It's Cheesy.
In this week's episode, we're going to be celebrating all of the April cheese holidays.
Party.
We're going to be talking about Cheese Weasel Day,
What?
National Burrito Day,
Ooh.
Pimento cheese,
Mm.
Fondue,
Ew.
grilled cheese, Poutine,
Whoa.
cheeseballs,
Me.
cheddar fries, raw milk,
Whoa.
and cherry cheesecake.
Yum.
We're even going to share a couple of our non-cheese favorites.
Yay.
And of course, no episode would be complete without our very cheesy joke.
Joke.
Stay tuned for episode 177, April Cheese, on Just Cheesy, the podcast. We've been doing this podcast for a minute,
Yeah.
and I don't know why I didn't really realize it before, but April is chock full of cheese holidays.
Yeah, it is.
And this first one isn't even a food-related one, but it is a doozy.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the 1990s, a weasel was spotted carrying a Kraft single.
What?
And you're asking yourself, well, what was that weasel going to do with cheese? Well,
Yeah.
apparently he was going to be putting it under the keyboards of good tech workers everywhere.
Like the Tooth Fairy.
The holiday has been spreading by word of mouth. It's grown to other sites.
Whoa.
One of them offers a song, the other offers a Cheese Weasel Day e-card.
Whoa.
If you're not in tech but you do like cheese,
Yeah.
well, April 3rd is also National Burrito Day.
Ooh, yum.
According to NewEstroStories.com, the history of the burrito goes back thousands of years.
Yeah.
Around 10,000 BC, using corn tortillas to wrap foods was a common practice.
Really?
And this began in the region known as Mexico today.
Wow.
In 1895, the burrito appeared in the book Dictionary of Mexican Spanish,
Okay.
and it was described as a rolled tortilla filled with meat or other ingredients.
Yum.
And while you can find lots of different burritos, one of the top 5 is obviously a classic bean and cheese burrito.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe you're not into a cheese burrito
Really?
and you love something else.
Okay.
Well, on April 9th, you can celebrate National Pimento Cheese Day. And
Ooh.
apparently, this is dubbed as the caviar of the South.
Oh,
It's
wow.
a spread made of cheese, mayonnaise, and pimentos.
Ooh.
And this cheese has been made popular because there's a sandwich at the Masters tournament,
Yeah.
and this is considered a Southern staple.
Ooh.
But guess what?
What?
Apparently, the internet doesn't think it was actually invented in the South. In fact,
Whoa.
the pate of the South was actually invented in New York.
New York
And they say
City.
that was as a product of industrial food manufacturing and mass marketing.
Of course.
All the way back in 1870, New York State farmers started making soft, unripened cheese, and they modeled it after the French Neufchâtel.
Whoa.
Within 20 years, those companies made a variant by mixing cream with Neufchâtel and molding it into blocks, and this was cream cheese. And just
Ooh.
like the pimento cheese, cream cheese actually wasn't invented in Philadelphia. It was also invented in New York.
New
Picture
York
it.
City.
It's the 1800s. We've got cream cheese being made.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that sweet red peppers are imported from Spain.
Ooh.
In the 1887 edition of Miss Parloa's Kitchen Companion, she noted that these peppers, when green, are much milder than the common bell pepper, even
Whoa.
though they look a lot alike. And these were very popular, and within a decade, they were being sold to large food manufacturers.
Whoa.
By 1899, the editors of Boston Cooking School magazine included a cauliflower and pimento salad on their dinner menu
Ooh.
because they said it had a brilliant color.
Aw.
And by 1908, an article in Good Housekeeping recommended sandwiches filled with a blend of soft cream cheese, mustard, chives, and minced pimentos.
Whoa.
The next year, Up-to-Date Sandwich Book presented a more basic version of the pimento cheese sandwich.
Really?
It said to grind 2 small cans of pimentos
Okay.
with 2 cakes of Neufchâtel cheese and season with a little bit of salt.
Ooh.
Then, of course, you spread it on white bread.
Of course.
By 1910, the pimentos were being run through a mechanical chopper and mixed in the Neufchâtel cheese.
Whoa.
And thus, commercially made pimento cheese was born.
Whoa.
In 1911, the Spanish pimentos were very expensive, but they were in demand.
Ooh.
So, in Griffin, Georgia, they began cultivating domestic pimentos.
Really?
And by the 1920s, there was a flourishing pimento industry around Griffin, Georgia.
Wow.
And that peaked around 1938 with 25,000 acres under cultivation
Whoa.
for pimentos. They were producing 10 million cans of pimentos a year.
Holy cow.
The popularity seemed to die off after World War II,
Aw.
and it looks like the home chefs decided to replace the cream cheese with hoop cheese that could be made at home and
Oh.
a jar of pimentos. And
Yeah.
because hoop cheese is a little drier,
Yeah.
you need something to bind the ingredients together,
Oh,
and
sure.
thus mayonnaise comes into the picture. In
Of
today's
course.
world, the recipe goes as follows,
Okay.
and this comes from SeriousEats.com.
Sure.
You take a pound of sharp cheddar cheese grated, 1 cup of mayonnaise,
Ooh.
a jar of pimentos, a half a teaspoon of hot sauce, and a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper.
Yummy.
Pimento cheese is not a sponsor.
Nope.
But if it was, the ad would go right here. Have you ever wanted to listen to the web?
Yeah.
Well, Newsly makes that possible.
They do?
They're an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android.
Super app.
You can listen to trending articles on the web on topics that you choose and get them read to you in a natural human voice.
What kind of topics?
Sports,
Cheese?
tech, business, science.
Cheese?
I'm sure there's even cheese.
Yay!
They even have an entire section for podcasts.
Are we there?
Of course we are.
Ooh.
It's one of my new favorite podcast apps. They even have digital radio.
Holy cow.
Just go to www.newsly.me to download it free.
Whoa.
Or use the link in the description. If you use the promo code CHEESY, that'll get you 1 month free premium subscription.
Yay, Newsly.
Now, back to the podcast. You want to celebrate my namesake?
Yeah.
Well, you can. April 11th
Ooh.
is National Cheese Fondue Day.
Happy Fondue Day.
We've covered fondue in a few episodes in the past.
Yeah.
Fondue is a French word derived from fondre,
Oh, boy.
meaning to melt.
Okay.
Its first foray into popularity came in the 1930s with a campaign by the Swiss Cheese Union. And in the
Whoa.
1960s, the New York World's Fair featured fondue at the Swiss Pavilion.
Yum.
According to alpenwild.com, there are specific cheeses that are popular.
There are?
One is an equal blend of Gruyere and Vacherin.
Ooh.
Some popular pairs are Gruyere mixed with Appenzeller, Gruyere and raclette,
Okay.
and some places Emmentaler seems to be the common choice.
Whoa.
Don't have a love for fondue? I
Aw.
don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But if you don't, on the 12th you can celebrate National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day.
Yummy.
We have an entire episode dedicated to the grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah,
and
we
according
do.
to freshmelt.com, loaves of bread were inexpensive,
Yeah.
and so was processed cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And this sandwich became popular in the 1920s because of the Great Depression.
Oh, yeah.
The earliest sandwich was open-faced with grated American cheese, and
Ooh.
popular toppings were tomatoes, eggs, pineapple,
Pineapple.
and bacon.
Really?
April 11th is National Poutine Day.
Ooh.
According to the Canadian Encyclopedia.ca, poutine is a Quebecois dish
Oh, boy.
made of fresh-cut fries topped with cheese curds and gravy.
Yum.
It appeared in snack bars in Quebec in the 1950s, and it was
Ooh.
popularized across Canada and beyond in the 1990s.
Nice.
I know it's hard to tell by my French today,
Yeah.
but I was in Quebec in my teens,
Uh-huh.
and I don't remember poutine. I remember
Really?
some fresh bread, and the
Ooh.
city was awesome,
Yeah.
and the only French word I can remember from the time
Oh, no.
was Schtroumpf, which was the French word for the Smurfs.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, Julian from France, who actually provides the best pronunciations on the internet. I've butchered another one.
Sorry, Julian.
April 17th is your namesake day
It is?
with National Cheeseball Day.
Yay.
According to culturecheesemag.com, we have the first record of a cheese ball all the way back in the early 1800s.
Holy cow.
There was a man in Massachusetts, and he crafted a giant cheese ball that weighed 1,235 pounds.
Holy cow.
This cheese ball took the milk from over 900 cows.
900.
And it was known as the mammoth cheese.
Whoa.
He transported the ball by wagon and then rolled it across the White House lawn to
Whoa.
serve it to President Thomas Jefferson.
Wow.
They displayed that bad boy at the White House for 2 solid years.
Ugh.
And I guess it was so big that they had to toss the remainder of it in the Potomac River.
Oh, no.
If you love a good cheese ball,
Yeah.
check out our website, www.justcheesy.com. And there's a recipe to our very favorite.
Check it out.
April 20th is National Cheddar Fries Day.
Yum.
We're going to be talking about taters and fries in an upcoming episode.
Whoa.
The 20th also sees the celebration of Raw Milk Cheese Appreciation Day.
Really?
They celebrate cheeses made from raw milk, unpasteurized milk, and highlight traditional cheesemaking methods.
Whoa.
The 23rd is National Cherry Cheesecake Day.
Ooh.
And if you recall back in our cheesecake episode, the Greeks
Yeah.
are the ones who had cheesecakes, and these go back all the way to the ancient ages of the first Olympic Games.
Whoa.
And according to CadburyDessertsCorner.com, it wasn't until the 1500s that the recipe for cheesecake was documented.
Whoa.
It became obviously popular and even iconic.
Wow.
Cheesecake as we know it today became popular in the late 1800s with the advent of Philadelphia Kraft mass-producing cream cheese.
Wow.
And they believed that blueberries and cherries, which were being used as sauce of the cheesecakes, became popular around the time that cheesecake itself was being made by everyone in the 1800s.
Whoa.
Rounding out the holidays for the month, we have April 24th with National Pigs in a Blanket Day. This is an honorary holiday where sausages are wrapped in dough.
Whoa.
They're made as appetizers, and you can even add cheese to the filling or the dough to create an ooey-gooey treat.
Yeah.
Our other honorary holiday is on April 26th, and that is National Pretzel Day.
Yum.
Pretzels date back all the way to medieval Europe.
Whoa.
And today they're loved at places like stadiums and fairs and Oktoberfest and the mall.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
can even be eaten with cheese toppings.
I'm ready for a joke, Fondue.
I was going to say something about April showers bring May flowers.
Oh, yeah.
But that made me think about flowers and bloomy rind cheeses.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the joke.
Okay.
How do bloomy rind cheeses describe themselves on dating apps?
I don't know. How?
Earthy and extremely cultured. And get it?
Oh.
Cultured, earthy?
It was dumb.
It sure was, and a little bit cheesy. Thanks for listening to Just Cheesy the Podcast, episode 177, April Cheese.
Thank you.
Did you use the hashtag giving cheese this week?
Did you?
Well, we sure did in all of our social media posts.
Oh, yeah.
Check out our new Say Cheese section of our website to learn more cheese slang words.
And stay cheesy, everybody.